Morning all, how we doing? Morning Neo. Does it sound like there's an aircraft taking off in here? I've got my fan on, but it's pointing kind of at my back, so let me know if it sounds like Concorde's taking off, and I'll turn the fan off, as long as you can hear me. It's so hot. Been down the beach all weekend paddleboarding, it's really cool. Well, it wasn't cool, it was really hot. But... Morning, Hank. Right. How many have we got? 15. Okay. So, just a quick recap of Friday before we get going, because I didn't do... I'm not sure I posted anything. I can't remember what I posted on Friday. I was out Friday afternoon. So don't think I actually posted what I closed out on Friday, but Friday I banked 0.82, and it was, where are we, Friday, pound US dollar. Closed out 2 short positions there. That was it. Yeah, there you go, 2 trades. Both put trailers on. As we push down into this gap. So the targets were down here at these lows. I've still got 2 positions running on this pound US, which I've moved the TPs down now, obviously, because break even. Oh no, so I've got more than that down there. Hang on, 1 sec. No, I haven't. I've got 4 positions running on this. So this gap fills done basically, which is why I took those 2 positions off there. I put a trailer on them basically. If it was going to continue to flood down, then fine, but I got out on the trailer. I still like it short, still like the pound short. I'm unsure about the US dollar at the moment, I don't know. So still waiting to see. I still kind of like it a little bit more bullish than bearish, but meh. Morning Diamond. I still like it down towards wherever. Basically, I still think the pound's coming down regardless of what the US dollar does. So yeah, continuation of the trend, targeting back down towards the lows somewhere, but I'll obviously evaluate this as we go. But that's all I closed out on Friday. So I closed out 0.85% onto US dollar. Excuse me, pound US dollars. Makes me tired when it's hot. Current exposure is DAX, which is killing me. DAX is still going up at the moment. Morning, Stevie. So this morning we had a gap which is filled. So we gapped down this morning, came up, filled the gap. So now we're free basically to go wherever we fancy. Hopefully to the downside. So we had a big rally from New York. So New York opened and just didn't look back. New York just went, nope, I'm off. So looking at the daily on the DAX, this is the gap fill play that we filled, double topped, but it's broken out now. So confusion. Potentially we've got room to push up to the 200 and this basic support up here. Nice support resistance area there. So potentially we've got room up to there, which would be bad because I'm double exposed on this. I've got larger than normal lot sizing on because I was very convinced it was coming down, but it hasn't. So today I'm hoping we're going to get a push down on this, and if we do, I will close some of this out and I will reduce my position sizing down on this to normal position sizing and adjust the EA so that it's getting in on normal position sizing, because I'm in a little bit too hot on this at the minute. Most of my drawdown, you can see I'm in just under 7% DD. Half of it is DAX because I'm overexposed on it, and the other half of the other half is oil, which I'm also overexposed on. I've got double contract sizing on it. So yeah, so that's why I'm in that drawdown. Otherwise, everything's just as normal at the moment. So DAX basically pushed up, which I wasn't expecting. So expecting a pullback today. We should get at least a pullback to there. I'm hoping for a little bit of a deeper pullback on this, as we've had a good strong push up out of these highs. This could well just be a false breakout, which will reverse. There's still no reason for any of these markets to be bullish at the minute. Earnings season's over. The world is collapsing. Everything's burning. There's just no reason for the stock market to go up. But we thought that when COVID was on, didn't we? We had the initial COVID, oh my God, the world's going to collapse. And then the market went, yeah, no problem. Everybody's making less money. Businesses are doing worse. Nobody's spending anything. So let's pump the market up to levels we've never seen before. Who knows? This is the stock market. It's not logical. So we'll see. Obviously, strong pushes on all indices on Friday. We've got a lot of potential news with the China-US relations as well out there. So there's a lot of potential volatility. So we'll see what happens. But DAX, I'll evaluate that at the end of the day. Oil I've got on at the moment. Oil I'm not worried about really. We had a nice peak formation low put in. We had this control candle which we sat in for 4 days. We broke out the highs. We've pulled back now. So I'm just looking for a pullback and push on this. Higher pricing on oil. I've only got 3 positions on this, and I'm not far away from break even. As you can see, I'm well within an ADR, half an ADR really. So I can be out of oil very, very quick today. It's pushing up at the open, which is nice. So hopefully we'll get a decent move up on oil. And with the same with oil, I think what I'm going to do is when I get up there, in fact, what's the distance from those positions? Not far. It's only 12 pips. I'm not going to take another one there. Could take another one there and bring the average down. Let's do it. I'm going to put a stop on it. It's only a tiny little risk. I'll give it a little bit more breathing room. So that brings my average down nicely. So if I can get down to here, what I'll do is I'll take that position off. I'll take that position off, and I will take off half of that position, and then adjust the EA back down to normal sizing on it again. As I say, I'm a bit overexposed on these just because I was getting a bit too aggressive, expecting these turns to start. Everything was in exactly the right spots for turns, and market's just not doing much at the moment. So I have also got US dollar CAD on long. Within an ADR on that, I've got an aggressive drawdown control position at break even on this, which is pushed out above these highs. So the aggressive position I took was down here somewhere. We pushed up, pulled back, pushed up, broke the high, pulled back, pushed up, broke the high. So market structure's nice and bullish. Looking for a trade up to this gap and resistance, exiting the whole position up there. I've also got on Aussie New Zealand 3 positions on that at break even at the moment. So like it long still, Aussie New Zealand, just like Aussie New Zealand long, full stop. Even when it's just not going anywhere, it still moves a lot nicely. So it's just a case of waiting for those moves and then taking advantage of them. So not worried about that at all. So that's what I'm in at the moment. I've got exposure on DAX, oil, US dollar CAD, pound US dollar, and Aussie New Zealand. Up 12.7% on the month. My target is 10% a month. So I'm way over target. So if I need to use 6% of this today to go flat, I'm still above target for the month. So I've got plenty of money in the bank. Right, so we'll have a look at news. It's a big news week this week, but it's all on one day. Blackjack, view on gold. No idea. Don't trade it. Short gold. We've had a 4-hour reversal alert, which is retesting at the moment, so get in now. Trade it back down to the lows. But it's what's your, when everybody, anybody asks what's your view on gold, what's your view on the US dollar? whatever the US dollar is doing, this does the opposite. So if you're bullish US dollar, short it. If you're bearish US dollar, long it. But right now, short, I would say. But again, how long are you holding for? You're trading daily, weekly, 5 minute, 1 minute? Can't answer that question. But short. Morning, Sammy. But it's not one that I trade, so. Right, so yes, news this week. So overnight news. Chinese military can continue to train and be combat ready to uphold sovereignty. Ugh. So still got these China tensions going on with Taiwan, which could break at any minute. The next load of planes that fly over there, one of them can get knocked out of the sky, and that's it. We're in World War III. So we had loads of Chinese figures coming out, which were not great. Not a lot else over the weekend. Japanese GDP slightly down. GDP doesn't really do an awful lot. Wheat prices. Demand is still good for oil, which is good. It's bullish. Yeah, so nothing much over the weekend to worry about. So this week's news. So things to look out for this week. It's a bank holiday in Europe, only in France and Italy. Germany, where the DAX is and where the majority of the FX transactions go through, is open. So shouldn't have too much impact on any of the markets today with those bank holidays. Only news we've got today is Empire State at 1:30, which is not really something to worry about. Tomorrow morning we've got the Aussie dollar monetary policy meeting minutes, so we could get some volatility on the Aussie and New Zealand tomorrow. So if you're in any Aussie New Zealand, like I'm in Aussie New Zealand long, just keep an eye on that when you wake up in the morning. Could be some profit taking opportunities on there. CPI on the CAD tomorrow afternoon, which is a biggie. So this one could have a big movement on the Canadian dollar. Why have we got no forecasts on the CPIs? It's interesting. Don't know why we've got no forecasts on the CPI figures. Okay, CPI forecast is 0.2 month on month. So yeah, forecasting 0.2. So we need to see what that comes out as, but we could get some really big movement on the CAD tomorrow. Frankfurt Open seems really quiet, is it? Let's look at what's doing on DAX. Yeah, not a lot. I'd be very surprised if we don't get a big strong pullback on this morning. I think we'll just get a nice orderly drop today after this pump. There'll be a lot of profit taking moves coming out of today, no gaps, so should be pretty good. Shorting opportunities today, take an opening range breakout and just play it down to support. Yeah, CPI tomorrow, that's the biggie on the Canadian dollar. And then Wednesday all kicks off. So Wednesday we have Aussie dollar wages, basically, which again doesn't do a massive amount. But we've got the New Zealand dollar rate. So they are going up 0.5%, which is, this is the biggest interest rate we've got worldwide at the moment, 3%. So they're leading the way, New Zealand, in like really putting the rates up. We had one surprise in April and one in August last year. Apart from that, we tend to be fairly straightforward. So in the last couple of months, all of the central banks have put at least one surprise in there, really, most of them. Not all of them, but most of them, just to get a little bit ahead of this inflation issue. So I suspect we will get a 0.5 6.5. So that should be bullish New Zealand. But whether or not the market has already factored that in, we'll have to wait and see. So a lot of the time with these interest rates, the market, you'll see on here, it's much more prevalent with the euro. I probably won't be able to find one, but they're constantly saying forecasts are now 50 basis points reduced from 65 basis points for next rate announcement, blah blah blah, and they're constantly keeping on top of what they expect the rate announcements to be. So when the official forecasts are released, if they're in line with what they were expecting, i.e. 0.5 or 50 basis points in this case for the New Zealand dollar, you don't tend to get a big surprise. So the market just carries on as expected. And if the Aussie New Zealand has been moving in one direction, you would usually expect that direction to continue on... Oops, that's the wrong chart. It's the DAX I've just changed. You would expect it to continue in its current direction. So at the moment we're bullish Aussie New Zealand. So even if that comes out as bullish for the New Zealand dollar, it's probably been factored in already. So if it comes out as a different number, 0.25%, 0.5% different, which I would be very surprised if they did that, because they'd have to go up 0.75 or 1%, which is a lot. Then you'll get a big movement, a la the Swiss franc, when we saw the Swiss franc 0.75 increase coming, which we weren't expecting. So I would expect that to continue, but either way on my Aussie New Zealand, I'll be profit taking by the time we get to Wednesday, hopefully. So I don't really want to be holding through that, but you need to be aware of that one. So big one coming up on Wednesday morning. We've got a press conference after that, where we tend to get a lot of movement. Then we've got CPI for the pound at 7 a.m. So all the Australasian and the Asian session movement will be created by the Aussie and the New Zealand. Then as soon as we get just before the London Open, we've got the rates for the CPI for the pound expected to come out at 9.9, so it's expected to go up. And then after that, we've got retail sales for the US dollar an hour before the New York Open. Following that, we've got FOMC in the evening. So Wednesday, absolute chaos across everything. We've got the pound, we've got the US dollar, we've got the Aussie and the New Zealand all getting massive news. And every single one of those news events has got an opportunity to move every single currency because they're big news. So Wednesday, utter chaos. So for this week, Monday, Tuesday, one or two things is going to happen. We're either going to get accumulation days where we just basically don't get any real directional movement. We'll get movement up and down, but it will be range bound. So you're not really going to know where those ranges are going to stop. But quite often we see that ahead of a very large news event, or in this case, a very large news day. The other option we get is we get strong movement in one direction, and then we tend to get that direction reversed on the news. So if we see things pumping, we get ADRs today and tomorrow. So if we see a lot of ADR hits to the upside on US dollar pairs, for example, likelihood is on Wednesday it's all going to get reversed, especially on FOMC. Then Aussie dollar, we got unemployment on Thursday. Apart from that, the rest of the week's a dud. So basically, back end of the week, front end of the week, no news, chaos on Wednesday. So need to be prepared for that. So when you're looking at your portfolios, obviously have a look at where you are ahead of the news. Bank whatever you can to get out of positions. If you're over leveraged, overexposed, and also look for opportunities to do aggressive drawdown control on things. So for me on the DAX, for example, hopefully I'll be a lot lighter on that by the end of today. But if there's things that you want to start getting yourself out of, these news events are going to move the market. So they're good opportunities for aggressive positions. So, look at, it doesn't matter what you take them on. If I want to get out of the DAX, I can easily take an aggressive drawdown control position on the US dollar CAD. I don't have to take it on the DAX. I can say, right, I think this thing's going to pump massively. I'll take an aggressive position there and I'll use that profit and get rid of some of my DAX positions. Yeah. So look at all these big movements as opportunities for getting into aggressive positions if you need to on any of your portfolio. So that's the news. We've got loads of it coming up. And obviously throughout the whole week this week, we've still got this US-China tension going on with Taiwan. I don't think anything's going to happen. It seems to, like all these things, it flares up and then it disappears, and then it flares up and it disappears. But China do seem to be, flexing a lot at the moment. And when that sort of stuff is going on, it just takes one wrong move or one poke too far, as we saw with Russia and Ukraine, and all hell breaks loose. And the last thing we want is two big conflicts going on with the two largest superpowers in the world. China and Russia are both at war, with the US sitting there thinking about which one to get involved in. It's not a good situation. So fingers crossed that doesn't escalate any further, but you need to be aware any time this could kick off. And if it does kick off, you just want to be hitting the flat button. Everything, just take it, whatever it is, positive, negative, get it off the table, because it will blow your account if it goes the wrong way. But you will find that will be solved for you automatically anyway. So when we get big conflict, what you tend to see is US dollar will pump through the roof, everything will get hit on TP there, and I'll be completely flat on that. The DAX will completely collapse, everything will hit on TP, I'll be completely flat on that. Pound US dollar will be completely the wrong way, and all of a sudden I'll be sitting in something like 5% drawdown on one pair. Just close it. Yeah. If you're really unfortunate, everything goes completely the opposite way and you set in 20% of drawdown. Nothing you can do. But these are things that happen very, very rarely, but when they do, you just need to take them on the chin, as I did with the Ukraine crisis. I took about 15% loss on it. But hey, happens. So we're on our way for this gap fill very nicely at the moment on the US dollar CAD. So see if we can get this big movement this morning. Right, so having a look at everything, do a rundown of everything this morning, go through all the pairs. DAX coming down very nicely. I need to just be aware of where we are with this, because I've got quite a lot of profit on the table at the minute. So I want to do some drawdown control on the DAX. I want to get rid of this. Free. Sorry, one sec. This is worrying me, this accumulation here, where we're approaching at the moment. We're likely to get some reaction here. This is where we stalled after that initial move before we started the next leg down. So if this sell leg is the first leg of a move down, this is where the banks are likely to add to their positions, because this is where they stalled and continued the move. So I'm just concerned because I've got a large position on here, which is approaching this level. So I'm tempted just to put a trailer on this while I'm talking, just in case we get a big reaction off of that. So I'm just putting a 20 pip trailer on it, just so I'm locking in $300 odd, just about 0.5%. So all we need is World War to hit my TPs. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly right, Sammy. When it happens, like I say, it will happen. Basically, what will happen is my US dollar CAD, everything, this will just vanish. Boom. It'll be gone in one candle. It'll all go. It'll all vanish because it'll all hit TP, and you'll be like, woohoo! And then all of a sudden you'll look at something else, and something else will be sitting in $2,600 drawdown, or whatever. It's all relative depending on your account size. But that's what happens when those things kick off, because it just goes. It'll be a move like that. If you look at the Swissy, or you look at the Ukraine crisis. When that all kicked off, where were we, March? It just all started with a couple of big days. So you'll get, days like that, all of a sudden you'll be like, whoom. Right, there's nothing you can do there. Once that's gone in, there's nothing you can do about that. When the market has reacted, and that's the aftermath of it. You just get these big candles kicking in. It's either, I don't know where it is actually, but it's just one of those things you just got to take on the chin and deal with. There's no point trying to do drawdown control when a war is kicking off, a tsunami has hit, a volcano's erupted, a central bank has been found to be fiddling the books, something has gone on where something dramatic is going to change. There's no point in holding on and thinking, oh, it might come back my way. It won't come back your way. You just take it, hit it, which is why we're building this balance up here to deal with those sorts of situations. But very rare. At the moment, though, it seems to be happening every couple of months, doesn't it? Something. Right. Swiss yen. So we looked at all these monthlies on last week. I don't think any of these have changed. Swiss yen, pound odd on monthlies. So they've all reacted. Pound odd is still going. So pound odd is just actually reacting today. So we get a nice bounce today. These are all counter trend to the way that I want to be going on them. Pound New Zealand and US dollar yen. So pound New Zealand, again, moving up. We've got some decent positive movement on the pound. Apart from the pound US dollar. So that shows you how strong that US dollar move is at the moment. That's the odd. And New Zealand, which is mainly off the back of that China news, which has weakened all the Australasian pairs. That's why those are pumping. So, so sometimes it's better to take the loss completely instead of being stuck in month kings of drawdown. Month kings of drawdown? What's that? In months of drawdown. Yeah, yeah. Only on I mean, when I'm saying, I would never normally just take a loss for taking a loss's sake. But if something happens where Russia invades the Ukraine and the market's reaction is like, whoom, it's very likely, unless conflict is not going to stop. Yeah, it's not like an earthquake. An earthquake hits and all of a sudden it hits Australia and we get this massive dump. We had it in New Zealand. New Zealand had a massive earthquake in Wellington and New Zealand tanked. And then for a couple of days it did that, and then the market went, well, actually, this is just one town that's been hit, and it recovers. When one country invades another country, that's not something that's going to sort of sort itself out in a couple of days. It's going to take months and years. So those situations you need to get out of. So, you'll hear about it. You'll see it happen first. What you'll see is you'll be watching your charts every now and again, and all of a sudden you'll see something like go off the scale. On the daily, you'll get a daily candle which is like, where did this come from? And then you'll look at the news and then it'll be warship sunk in South China Seas, and you're like, oh, why has the warship been sunk in the South China Seas? Somebody's just missiled it. Okay, and that is your cue to get out. That's not going to fade and pop. That's just going to go. Yeah, but it'll be a fundamental event, and you tend to see it in the markets first because the markets are watching the news like a hawk, which is why Financial Juice is so good. You're going to hear about it on Financial Juice as the market is reacting to it, which is why you need to be paying attention to this. Yeah, there'll be a big red one come up that says Chinese warship fires missile on Taiwan. Yeah, shut everything, get out. Take it, whatever it is, take a hit, take 5% loss, take 10% loss. Doesn't matter what it is, get out, because you know damn well something is going to go completely horribly wrong. But we're talking about things that happen so infrequently. These are once, maybe twice a year events. And you just go flat for them and wait for the market to figure out what the hell is going on. And sometimes it will be a false thing. It's like, and then China will turn around and say, really sorry, this idiot pressed the wrong button. We've stabbed him with the sword, and that's it. We're done. Well, that's Japanese, isn't it? So he had Harry. What's it called when they did that in World War II? Stabbed themselves through the chest. Harry Curie. Can't remember. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent. I'll shut up now. So yeah. Anyway, don't worry about it until it happens. Basically, but you need to be aware. So those are the monthlies. We've got nothing hit on the weekly, obviously, because it's Monday. Nothing is hit on the daily so far. Not enough volatility at the moment. The main things we've had moving have been the Aussies. So we've had that China news overnight. A lot of Chinese figures released. They tend to impact on the Australasian pairs. So we've had a fair bit of movement on the Aussies and the New Zealands. And some of those are getting fairly close to ADRs. But nothing's hit yet. So Euro New Zealand, for example, not far away, 15 pips away there. Pound New Zealand, 20 odd pips away or whatever there. So keep an eye on these today. But as I said, this week I would expect to see today, tomorrow, that sort of movement on a lot of stuff, because they're not going to want to move a massive amount until Thursday. There's a big news event. We've got FOMC coming up. So we got the central bank of the US basically explaining what the hell is going on with the US, and at the moment everybody's very confused with what's going on in the US, what they're going to be doing with rates. So there's going to be a lot of people sitting there wanting to know what they're planning long term. So that is where the market's going to start to move. If there's nothing particularly interesting in there, the market will probably still start to move, because people will just be waiting for confirmation of they're not doing anything about it again. So retail sales obviously will move the market as well. So it's all going to hinge around Wednesday. Hourlies, we've only got one Euro Swiss. Extended to the downside. I'm bearish Euro, have been bearish Euro for a long time. I'm still bearish Euro because they're still not putting their rates up. So I'm only looking for shorts, so I'm not interested in taking that. It probably will pull back, but I don't think it will pull back very far. This level here, yeah, so somewhere there or there we're likely to pull back to, but we could equally just flag and drop. So I'm not really interested in a mean reversion trade from the lows there. So that's the only one that's hit on the hourly there. We've got quite a few 4 hours, so I'm just going to go through all the pairs, I think, and we'll cover these 4 hour extensions as we're looking through each pair. There's quite a few dailies as well, but the vast majority of these are all the wrong side. You know, I'm looking for shorts on all of these pounds. They're all extended to the downside, so yeah. Harikiri is the art of me going into drawdown. Yeah, we should have a name for it, shouldn't we? We should call it something. Hell, pain. It's all the same stuff. So I'm just checking what's happening in my US dollar CAD trailer. The good old magic break-even support resistance line. You'll be amazed how many times the market respects your break-even line, almost to the pip. So we're just coming up to my break-even resistance. So I'm just keeping an eye on that on my other monitors. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is moving very nicely as well. I've got one TP set here. Which is that bottom position, I think. Yeah. So I'm getting out one of those at the highs. And then I hold the rest. Just watching what's going on with the DAX as well. DAX is moving down very nicely as well. The indices are recovering from the pump on Friday. So they've got a very nice pullback going on DAX. If this morning carries on, we get another couple of hours of this type of movement. I'll basically flat. So that'll be nice. Why have I just taken a loss? Oil. Ah, right, yeah. So oil. That was that position I took a minute ago on oil. Stopped out. So there's that one that I took right at the beginning of the stream. So stopped out on that one. So it looks like oil wants to come down a little bit more before it pushes up. EG gap fill. What time frame? That's off to the moon at the moment. Right, let's have a look through all the pairs. Start at the top, Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD. So the Canadian dollar's weakened off the back of the US dollar news. So the US dollar and the New Zealand dollar both weakened at the same. US dollar and the Canadian dollar both weakened at the same time. So everything's been pushing against the CAD and everything's been pushing against the US dollar. We've got oil still unsure about strength at the moment. It is still strong. Well, it's not weak, put it that way. But there's no massive strength coming through in the Canadian dollar or oil at the moment. So at some point I would expect this to pump. We got the extension yesterday on this one. Aussie dollar CAD and New Zealand dollar CAD both looking very, very similar at the moment, as you would expect, because they're virtually the same thing. We've got a lovely reversal alert and we've got a lovely divergence showing on the RSI at the moment. And we are expecting strength off of the Canadian dollar. So right now is a perfect time to be buying this. We're just running into potential resistance areas as well. So we've got a very good level of resistance here on the Australian dollar. The New Zealand dollar, we're up in a very nice area as well. New Zealand dollar CAD, someone mentioned this one this morning in the Telegram group. So yeah, all looking good for entries at the moment. Again, lovely divergence on multiple time frames, hourly and 4 hourly divergence. So very strong bearish signal. You need to be jumping into these fast, basically. Just had the reverse alert on the hourly there, same on the CAD, Aussie CAD. So they're good. I've got a CAD long on at the moment. I've got a CAD short on at the moment with my US dollar CAD. So when I'm out of that, I'm going to free myself up on the Canadian dollar. So I'm not taking either of these at the moment, but like them. And obviously I'm long Aussie dollar New Zealand, so shorting these just doesn't fit my portfolio at the moment, but I think they're very nice entries. Very good. Morning, Analia. Morning, David. I have the EA. How do I access the P&L page? Don't know what you mean by P&L page. Do you mean the P&L? Do you mean that? That's just in the settings. That's your comments. So that is your dashboard, display dashboard, and you can select what you want to display up here, if that's what you mean. Oh, no, if you're talking about this is the Trade Manager dashboard. Yeah, this is an indicator. This is have a look at the pinned message in the Telegram group, or Trade Manager dashboard. Just Google it on MQL5. Google it. Search for it on MQL5. Sorry, I haven't gone through just quickly the My Forex Funds account. Forgot to cover this. I've just done a quick rundown on this every day. So this is the My Forex Funds evaluation, which I'm doing position trading on. So closed out 0.36 on Friday, which is pretty good. All that was Euro US dollar. So I had these positions on Euro US dollar, closed out a lot down at resistance, support. We obviously come down a little bit more now. And the portfolio is sitting in 0.38 at the moment. So I'm just letting the EA close this out. I'm monitoring it a couple of times a day and just adjusting TPs as I see fit. But it's all set up to take $300. So anything that gets to $300 profit, which is just under 1% for target, it's also, the EA is going to automatically take that off anyway. So I've got that set up. That is this one. So just taking basket profit of $300 on all the positions. So that's going all right at the moment. Drawdown's been in control. I'm only 0.5% to target. Target is 8%. So if I can chip away 2 or 3%, that'd be nice. A week. David, no, where you see drawdown? Yes, I've answered that one. Yeah, Trade Manager dash those. I have some specific questions regarding the EA. Purchase this weekend and watch the videos. Can I ask questions here at the end? Yeah. But I mean, you come in the Telegram group if you want to, Hank. There's always someone in there that can answer. Normally Diamond or me. But yeah, we can ask questions at the end. Let me just do a quick rundown of all the pairs. I've covered everything now, so I can concentrate on doing the analysis. So yeah, Aussie CAD, like it short. Aussie Swiss, like it short as well. At the moment, Swiss franc hasn't done anything since the initial 0.75 rate pump, which we had a lovely multiple day, or kind of a week or so of really good strong Swiss franc. Since then, market's been just in the longest flag in the world. I still like it short at some point, but we're just range bound at the moment. So where you are now is a good spot. Well, where you were this morning was, or yesterday, Friday probably, was a good spot to take it. Or this morning in Asia, obviously, but it's range bound. So at the moment, I'd be interested in short opportunities on any RSI extensions. So if you get an hourly or a 4-hourly extension to the upside on RSI, good opportunities for short. Just wait for a reverse alert on M5 and get in. As long as it continues to do this, there's always going to be a profit for a short. And if it goes on its next pump, there's going to be a big one. So it's just a case of waiting to take those shorts. So I'm just watching what the US dollar is up to on my other monitor, and that's just need to keep an eye on those. Aussie dollar yen, well, all these yens, I still don't know what's going on with the yen. It's been weak again. We had this big accumulation, then another spurt of weakness, and this morning, this is the Aussie coming down rather than the yen pumping, but as you can see, it's very difficult to pick a direction at the moment. We are, the moving averages are fairly flat. You can see we've been in this big range since the last yen weakness. I think at the moment the yen is just holding its own against everything, and as I said last week, everything's kind of weak at the moment, so any kind of strength whatsoever on the yen really takes advantage of any other currency pair. But I have no directional bias whatsoever on the yen, so I'm finding it very hard to get into any yen trades. As you see, I've got nothing on the yen at the moment. I can't find a reason to go long or short on anything. When it gets extended to the upside, I'm scared that the yen is weakening and we're going to get a pump. When it gets to the downside, I did take longs on this move, but I took the Swiss yen. I'm more inclined to take it as a long. I'm less inclined to short it because I can't see any evidence of Kuroda, the Japanese government, central banks, doing anything about their currency, and I can't really see any way for them to pump their currency at the moment because they're in such a financial mess. So I'm more interested in waiting for pullbacks and kind of taking long opportunities on it rather than trying to get these what I class as probably fades. We did put in a new low, so really big extensions. If we get big extensions to the downside, those are the ones I'm going to be interested in. I'm not as interested in shorts at the minute, but that's just my kind of view on it. I'm undecided, and when I'm undecided, I tend to go with long-term trend, and long-term trend, obviously on the yen, all the yen pairs is up. So I'm more comfortable hitting the long button than the short button. So that's not really set up for me. It was a lovely opportunity. If you took it on M5 on Friday, job done. We've just had the hourly alert. I just don't really like shorts on it. I get the feeling more often than not what we're going to do is pull back into support and go for new highs. So that's what I'd be interested in. But I just want to take it super safe. I want to see it super extended, and then I will take those opportunities. If we are massively extended when I get into a trade and it drops further, it's going to get more extended. The more extended it is, the longer and stretched out that elastic band is, the faster it's going to ping back in our direction. So I'm just waiting for super extended conditions, which we're obviously we're not getting on any yen pairs at the moment. So when we get extensions to sort of 80-20, well, it'll be 20 in this case, because I'm looking for extensions to the downside to take longs. On the RSI, I'll be interested, but at the moment I'm not. But if you are, take it. You know, if it fits your portfolio, take it. You know, it's still moving. You know, these big, strong pushes have profit take moves. As long as the profit take moves keep happening, you can take the trades, but just not as convinced. Aussie New Zealand, I'm long. Still long. These lows are holding very nicely at the moment, so I've got 3 positions on that. Looking for pushes up to the highs somewhere to get out. I'll be TPing on one of these this morning, hopefully. So like that as a long. I've been longing this for ages, from sort of here. Took loads of longs and then finally got out of all my longs here because I got fed up with being stuck in this chop, and then it broke out. So every pullback I've been taking longs, and I'll continue to do that because the Aussie should continue to be stronger than New Zealand. Although this week we could have some temporary reversals of that depending on what happens with all of this lot. Yeah, so we've got loads of Aussie and loads of New Zealand news coming in this week, so there could be a temporary shift where we suddenly get a strong New Zealand dollar for a short amount of time. Aussie dollar, US dollar, like this as a short, nicely extended, only on US dollar strength though, and continuation of the current trend. We've pushed up into the highs. If you measure this move, we've got a nice 71.9 retracement on it at the moment. So if we are going to continue next leg and get some strength on the US dollar, and obviously this week we've got the perfect catalyst for that to happen on Wednesday, we should see some decent movement to the downside. But it's really, really, really dependent on what happens with FOMC on Wednesday. If FOMC comes out really bearish, and they are, yeah, it's actually worse than we thought it was again. I can see US dollar becoming a bearish currency for a while. So I'm trying to get myself out of this US dollar CAD long. The pound US dollar short, I'm not as worried about because the pound is going to be weak as well. So, but yeah, just being a little overcautious ahead of FOMC. But I like this as a short. You've just had a reverse alert on M15 on Friday after this push and accumulation, and if we break that low, we're coming back down here. So if we get this low broken and get a nice pop, you've got a good 70 odd pip, nearly an ADR move to the downside potentially on that. But at the moment we're just holding the highs. And we've had some fairly weak news on China as well, which will obviously drop Australasian pairs. And we've got all the Aussie news this week. You know, it's a massive week this week for news. There's going to be a lot of movement. The problem is at the moment with what's going on with the economy, it's very difficult to forecast which direction any other movement is going to go in, because numbers are coming out all over the place at the moment. But like that as a short, Aussie US. CAD Swiss. Undecided. We have just made a breakout of these lows. I'm more bullish than bearish on this, but the problem is you've got this massive Swiss franc strength that we saw coming off of the rate increase, and we've had oil weakening and Canadian dollar going sideways. So we've had no real movement on this pair because the Swissy, after it did that, decided to do nothing, and when the CAD powered up and we just got that accumulation, now the Swissy's doing nothing and the CAD's doing nothing, we're just going sideways. So we have just broken lows though. So I kind of like it as a long, but it's a messy pair at the moment. The other good thing we got about this is we've got this lovely support area down here. DAX is coming down really nicely this morning, for any of you that are shorting the DAX. we've got this area down here, which we have got to aim for as well. So getting in along here, you haven't got far to go until you're going to hit some potential support. We've got a lovely long week or so area of balance there, where the market is going to want to do a bit of price discovery and probably pop around at the top of. So you've got a decent entry there, potentially for a pullback from that move. And if it comes back down, you're going to get that W pattern as we hit this support. So it looks good for longs. It's not moving very far at the moment. It's weak moving down. If you look at it on the 4 hour, it's just a mess. So I'd be more long biased than short biased, but I don't really like it in either direction. Morning, Jeff. CAD yen, same situation with the CAD yen. I'm more interested in longs, but I want extensions. I want to see this embedded and deep down here before I start getting interested in it. Sideways movement, this could go either way on the drop of a hat. The other thing you've got to bear in mind is if anything does kick off with China and Taiwan, Japan is next on China's target list. Everything is manufactured in Japan and Taiwan, electronics wise. Not everything, but the vast majority of it. The biggest, most powerful chips that power our phones and our computers are all made there. And there's one factory that turns out 80% of all the microchips in the world. If that thing gets hit, we're in huge trouble. The stock market is certainly going to be coming down very hard if that was to happen. So I'm so undecided on the yen at the moment. As I say, I'm just looking at all these and I'm just not seeing anything that I like. Any kind of hits to these lows, any kind of approach towards these lows, if we come down and look for this gap fill and we start getting halfway into this gap fill and we're extended, then I'm going to be interested in taking mean reversion trades on these. But at the moment they're all just sitting in the wrong place. Same as Swiss yen, like it long, but not where it is. I want it down here. But yeah, just don't like them. Euro's still weak. Looking for opportunities to get into all of these. Haven't had any for ages. Last short was there. Can't get in. Just can't get in on any euro at the moment. Euro CAD is very, very, very sideways. Basically, this shows you how weak the CAD is. We know how weak the euro is. The fact that this thing has actually managed to go range bound against the Canadian dollar shows you how weak the CAD's been recently. So I like this for shorts. You can kind of short, if you look at this on the hourly, this is a really good one for hourly RSI extensions. If you could short any pop to the upside on the hourly, yeah, any upside on the hourly, short it. We're expecting Canadian dollar strength at some point in the near future. Euro, absolutely no reason until the next rate announcement why that should be pumping. So look for shorts and scale into any short positions you like on these at the moment. Euro CAD, Euro Swiss, yeah. I mean, if you scroll out, you know, you do not want to be taking a long on this thing. You want to be shorting every opportunity you can if you can find them. So reversal alerts to the downside, just short everything on the Euro Swiss. For me, I want it extended. Last extension I had was there. You know, it's just not getting there at the moment. Hourlies, same thing, same rule applies on the hourly. Like you've had one opportunity back in July. It's just not happening at the moment. You know, summer trading is just not finding the opportunities. But you know, if you want to, just take a short anytime you like and plan your entries. You know, get in short here if you want to. You know, I wouldn't advise it, but you could get in short here if you wanted to, and look at where you're going to get in short again. So if you get in there and it pushes up to there, get in again there. If that breaks, get in again there. Yeah, and 24 will be coming down on top of you. You know, you're pretty safe shorting the euro at the moment, anywhere really. Euro pound is a bit more of a tricky one. Euro is very weak. Pound is also very weak at the moment. I like short opportunities on this, but the danger with this, because it's such a small ADR, you're tying up your exposure in two currencies which are historically range bound. They always have been. The euro and the pound, massive trade partners, always trying to, stabilize the currency at a level where everybody's interested. You get loads of areas of balance on this: price discovery, balance, price discovery, balance, price discovery. Just what it does. So you can kind of trade it in any direction you like. I'm a little bit more short bias on it. I'm still short of the euro than I am the pound. I'm still short both of these, but I'd be much more interested in shorts than longs when you get the opportunities. But equally, when you get extended on this, because it is a range-bound pair, you can take any of them. Yeah, but I think you get more into drawdown and need maybe 2 or 3 positions to get out of them if you go for longs, whereas if you go for shorts, you're much more likely just to get them to play out from these RSI extensions. So, good potential short opportunity. I just really don't like the pair because of the ADR. It's just tiny. Euro yen sideways again. Don't know with the yen what to do with it, so I'm not doing anything with it. But any RSI extensions at the moment are playing out. Euro weak, yen weak. Don't know. What do you do with it? There's no bias. At the moment, we're in a clear downward channel in an upward trend. I just don't know. It's total confusion, so I'm just not interested in it at the minute. But I would be much more inclined to take longs on it. But if I'm going to take a long against the yen, the euro is the last thing I want to do. So this pair's just really off the table at the moment. Nice ADR, nice movement. Just can't really bring myself to long it or short it. So Euro New Zealand, like as a short, waiting for those pops. There's a really nice area of support here that hasn't been tested yet. So we broke that very convincingly, smashed through it. US dollar's still going beautifully. Smashed through that level, didn't get the retest. So if we can get ourselves back up to there, I really like that as a short opportunity. In fact, I'm going to set up a little alert on that when we get into that propulsion gap. So yeah, I like that area for a short if we can get there. At the moment, massively extended. If you did take this long last week, actually it was on Friday, Friday stroke today in the Asian session, that's off to the races. But this is because of the China news and the reaction to the Aussie and the New Zealand. So temporary. That's going to be temporary. That is long term. So looking for shorts. Euro US dollar, like it's short still, based on US dollar potential strength and the fact that you just couldn't look at this and say, I want to do anything but short the hell out of it. Yeah, short was last week on it. We got a nice extension, I think it was, there on Wednesday, was it, last week? I'm totally loaded on the US dollar at the moment. I can't take any, but this is what annoys me about getting stuck sideways in things like the US dollar CAD. I'm fully exposed on the US dollar. I can't take any trades, and I keep saying this. If you get into pairs like Aussie New Zealand, for example, that I'm in at the moment, or the euro pound, you're tying up your exposure in the euro and the pound, one of each. When the best trade opportunity in the world comes along, like the euro US dollar, where I've been waiting for weeks for that thing to get to a level where I think that's a beautiful short, I can't take it because I've got full exposure already on the US dollar. And that is a prime example. Yeah, this thing, I've been waiting for this thing to get extended enough for me to get short on it, and it happened last week when I'm fully exposed and I missed it and it's gone. But any pullbacks, still looking for shorts on it. So really like that as a short. We got a beautiful tap into double top tap into resistance. It's just textbook, just RSI extension, M pattern reversal alert. It's just everything just happened spot on. I just couldn't get in it, and I still can't because I'm exposed on the US dollar. But if you did get in that one, fantastic. Short. Pound odd short. pullback short, so looking for extensions to get into short opportunities. That was an M15 extension up here. The reversal alert came in there. Lovely short. So yeah, it's down at the lows at the moment. Really extended. Yeah, so this is a good example of, you know, when you get these extensions, even if it's against your bias, yeah. When you get this extended, when we're talking 15s on the RSI dash, so you look at this thing and you get extended up to here on a pair, yeah, it doesn't really matter what your bias is. If it gets to that level, the market is so unbelievably stretched, and there are so many people waiting to take profit. I say people, institutions, banks, waiting to take profit on moves. As soon as they see that starting to happen, that market structure starting to break, that price starting to move X% against them, and their profit starting to dwindle a little, they will all start to take profit. When they all start to take profit, that move accelerates, and that's what we're seeing at the moment on that particular pair. It's just the acceleration of the profit take. So we got down, massive drop, really extended. We started to put in a bullish candle. Oops. Yeah, started to put in a bullish candle, and since then the market is just running away. This is people just exiting their speculative shorts, adding fuel to the fire. But we will get to a level where we will hit, and then the sellers will start to add back into their positions. This accumulation here, likely to get some resistance out of that, like it's short. But again, it's not something I can really get into at the minute. Pound CAD, really like that as well as a short. Again, waiting for the Canadian dollar to bolster itself a little bit. Pound is a massive short, has been a short for ages. Canadian dollar's been a long for ages. Just keep shorting it. Yeah, as my old mentor used to say, if it's red, short it. Keep shorting it till it turns green. Just keep shorting it. As long as it's going, keep going. Trends have got much more chance of continuing than they have reversing. So yeah, good moves to the downside on that one. Looking for RSI extensions to the upside for shorts. Yeah, again, you stick the EA on any of these pairs. Just stick the EA on them, and you know, just use the RSI extensions. So this is exactly what I do with my EA. I stick it on a chart. I think, right, I like the look of pound CAD short. So you can literally just open the EA. Get pound CAD open, stick the EA on it, if I can find the EA, wherever it is, and just say, you know, I want to go short, and just get me in short when the RSI is extended on the 4-hour chart above 70. Yeah, and that's it. Go. And just let that thing run, and it will just get you in. As soon as we get any movement to the upside, you'll be in that trade automatically. Yeah. And that's what the EA is for. It's just for saying, you know, do your analysis. I really like pound CAD short. This thing's the shortest thing in the world ever. If it pushes up above there again and stays below the 72, and we get an RSI extension on whatever time frame you fancy trading, get in. And that's what the EA is designed to do. Not to be a set and forget, sit on the beach, drink Mai Tais, make you a millionaire. It's designed to automate your life. So I see pound CAD as a short. I'm going to miss the trade because I'm going to be making a cup of tea. I'm going to be out with the kids. I'm going to be doing something else when that opportunity happens, that push happens, that reversal happens. I'm going to miss it. It's going to move down. I come back, check the charts 4 hours later, I've missed it. The EA won't miss it. That's what it's there for. So pushing up, looking for shorts on that one. So I just need to check. I just got a pound CAD. Reminded me I went up, got a pound CAD. I'll remind myself, GC. That's really bad GC, isn't it? US dollar CAD. So I'm just, because I've got these longs on. Oh, missed it. Come here. Oh my God. Come here. Thank you. Just reducing that. I'm going to also take that one off. I'm not far away from TP on this. We're accelerating hard into this gap. We are at the top of this accumulation right now. So I've got this up on my other monitor. I'm just watching this accumulation and watching what price does here. At the moment we're powering through it, but we've just hit ADR. So I'm expecting a little bit of weakness to come in here, and what I don't want is a massive bearish engulfing and collapse on it. So I just need to manage this because I'm in profit now on the whole position. And we're just hitting potential resistance as well here, which is this balance area here where we were sat and we were trading happily for a day. We went price discovery, back into balance and down. So this is an area where potentially, if this short move is going to continue, we're going to see people starting to step in and push price back down again. So I'm just want to keep a close, tight stop on it. DAX is still coming down hard as well. So oil is the main thing I've got a problem with at the moment now. Okay, so I'm just going to stick a TP on DAX there. This is an area where we were happy in Globex to trade before this move started. So there was a lot of buy orders, long positions built in there before they pushed up in New York. Again, there's a likelihood we might find a load of buy orders wanting to continue that move there. Whether or not there's enough sellers today to take control, we don't know whether this is a profit take move on the next push up or whether this is an exhaustion and the sellers are stepping in. So either way, somewhere in here we're likely to find some resistance. Do I want to trail that tight? Yeah, I'm going to trail that 200. I'm just going to stick a trailer on that just to lock that profit in as well. Oh yeah, you can't see it. The stop loss is there. It's trading on that black line at the moment. So what I'll do is I'll move that TP down a bit. If this continues and just continues like flying down, take it. But I've got a trailer on it which is going to drag price down. So just locking in some of this profit just while I'm talking. Right, pound CAD. So I did pound CAD, didn't I? Yeah, looking for shorts on that one. Pound Swiss, same thing, looking for shorts. Pound Swiss is giving very few opportunities to get in. We had this big accumulation which went on for absolutely ages after the Swiss franc rate announcement, and we didn't get anywhere at all. We had a couple of one opportunity really for a short in there, but it was range bound and is now broken to the downside. So any kind of pullback into the 24 I think is good for a continuation short. Any kind of pullback into this potential resistance area again is good for a short. We're massively extended down here, but I really don't want to long the pound, so I'm not really interested in that one at the moment. Oil is starting to look interesting for longs. Yeah, very interesting. Let me just get the pounds covered, and then I'll have a quick look at oil before we do New Zealand and US. Pound yen, no idea. Just no idea. If it gets down to here, long it. Other than that, I've no idea. It's just a mess. Sideways. Any kind of RSI extension to the downside, I'd be interested long. But again, the pound and the euro are the last things I want to be taking longs against the yen. They're both bias short. So I'd much rather be interested in longing Swiss yen, CAD yen, or US dollar yen, or New Zealand or Aussie yen. Less so on the Aussies because they're Australasian pairs. Obviously the yen, the New Zealand and the Aussie are all Australasian pairs and move in Asia. So you've got a much better opportunity on the Swiss yen and the CAD yen or the US dollar yen for decent price movement. So those are my favourable ones. I really don't want to trade the pound yen. It's just unknown. Pound New Zealand pulling back very nicely. Again, looking for short opportunities on this now. This massive drop. Where this is going to pull back to is very hard to forecast. We've got a wick there and we've got this low. So this low here could act as potential resistance. Somewhere around here, which is where we had the accumulation. Yeah. Failing that, I prefer that at a level there to this wick. So we've got a nice level of support which has held multiple times there. We pushed into it, we rejected it there. So this is a much better level. So if we can push back up to here and get kind of a V-shaped recovery in up to this level when the 24 comes down, that's where I'd be looking to short. No reason the pound's going to strengthen. Temporary New Zealand dollar weakness. And we've got loads of New Zealand dollar news and Aussie dollar news coming in this week. So looking for short opportunities on it. You could start to scale in here on this one. So we've got this nice little accumulation here where we came down, we hit this support. The market was deciding whether or not it had enough to bounce and it didn't. The sellers just absolutely trampled it. So this is more likely where we're going to get a reaction down there. Our adult dating site's back. Hello adult dating site, welcome back. Bye bye. Which one is it? I do like an adult dating site on the stream. So yeah, like that there, sure. You're not going to get an RSI extension on it. If you do, fantastic, but you're not going to. Hourly you probably will, so probably watch the hourly. When we get extended on the hourly, so look for RSI extensions from the RSI dash on the hourly, and then this level here is what we'll be concentrating on, this accumulation before that dropped. So somewhere around there potentially you got an entry. If that doesn't hold, you've got a second entry at that resistance. Yeah, so that's not far. You know, if you're getting somewhere around there, you're looking at roughly an ADR. So you probably have possibly 2, possibly 3 positions on by the time we got up to there for the next leg down. But shorts. Pound US, I am short. Again, just waiting for this idiot to power up, which it isn't. So relying on this idiot weakening. But yeah, anyway, they're all being idiots at the moment. Like you can't close your laptop and get notifications on the phone. Price alerts are actually good. You need active session. Yeah, you got obviously with the alerts. If you set alerts manually in MT4, MT4's got to be open for it to alert. But you can see them all in here. Yeah. So all your alerts will be in MT4. But obviously, terminal's got to be open. If you want to, you know, this VPSs are so cheap now. If you just wanted to use a VPS for alerts, you can buy a VPS for like $15 a month. It's nothing. You get a cheap VPS, 1 CPU, 2 gig RAM. That's all you need to run a single MT4. And just literally set that up and just use it to do alerts for you if you want. If you can't leave your machine running, I sit here with my machine all day long, so it's not an issue for me. But yeah, you can use that. And this is why a lot of people run the RSI dashboards and the ADR dashboards. They run them on VPSs with push and email notifications turned on, so that you're getting these. I get pop-ups because I'm sitting here looking at this all day long, so I just use pop-ups. Pound Swiss is finally moving. Yes, your pound Swiss. Yes, pound US dollar short. Nice end pattern reversal. We've got the reversal alert. We're retesting at the moment. We need to break this low for this one to be really confirmed as a short. Yeah, so we've put in a lower high. We want that lower low put in, but it's very, very slow. But and that's mainly because the US dollar is just weak. So yeah, your pound Swiss obviously at the moment got a reversal alert just kicked in there, but it's just taken yesterday's low out as well. But you know, just longing the pound is dangerous at the moment. Pound is weak. So that's all the pounds covered. Let's have a quick look at oil. So yeah, oil, really nice spot at the moment. So I was buying all the way down to 90 from 95. So this 95 to 90 a barrel, or 88 as it got down to. This area here is where I'm expecting to get the push started from. This is pre-Ukraine pricing here. So this is where the Ukraine war kicked off. We were accumulating at this level prior to Ukraine. So we're back to pre-war pricing. Supply is still as it is, pretty much. Demand is higher, therefore we should be getting higher prices. We've been having a big drop at the moment, and this is mainly a reaction, I think, from OPEC to the energy crisis. Don't forget, oil is still one of the biggest used energy production sort of catalyst that we use around the world. You know, people say, you know, I've got an electric car, it's brilliant. But the oil-powered gas stations, the oil-powered, what are they called? You know, where we get electricity from, electricity stations, are still powering my electric car. Yeah. So oil is still massively in demand. Even if the demand for oil, i.e. in the form of petrol, drops, the demand for oil in other areas is not dropping. So we should see this get a nice bounce from down here. We got the reversal alert on the 4-hour chart. We've had the retest, and we're coming down and now retesting this level. So if you look at it from a price action point, market structure point of view, we've got our low, high, higher low, higher high. This is where we are expecting our higher low to come before we make our next higher high. So somewhere above this 87.90 level is where we would expect our next leg to start from and push. And it can happen, you know, you need literally a day and you're off. So good level to start buying oil now if you're interested. It's still coming down, so drop down to M5, wait for that reversal alert to kick in and take an entry. I've got the EA set to automatically trade this for me anyway, but distance wise we're looking for 22. Yeah, I might change that temporarily. I might just quickly change the distance between trades because I want to get in one down here. Where am I? Half. Let's go with 0.3. So that should bring me down to about 130. So that's 13 pips between entries. Yeah. So that gets me into another position. So I'm going to take the next reversal long on oil down there. Xavier, the blue rectangular on your chart, is it supply and demand zone? No, this is a propulsion gap. So this is basically where price accumulates and then the move starts. So that is a propulsion gap, which price tends to trade back into these propulsion gaps and get rejected. So yeah, they are kind of supply and demand areas. Yeah. But there's a link in the Telegram group, or if you go onto the website, if if you go to other indicators and templates under indicators, this is my template, and it's called gap indicator, WRB hidden gap. That's that one. Yeah, so oil, yeah, I like it. Like it where it is. Assuming obviously we are going to continue market structure. So who knows at the moment with oil. If China does anything stupid, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen with oil, which is why I'm looking to reduce my exposure on oil a little. I've just got out of one of those DAXs. On a little bit of a pullback there. Yeah, so that's why I'm looking to reduce my exposure on the DAX and oil, because I'm over leveraged on those at the moment. I just need to get a little bit in control of them. Right, New Zealand's. So New Zealand dollar CAD short. This is still a very nice short. We've just broken above the 72 on this. We came straight back up into these highs and have rejected very nicely. We looked at this one this morning. As I say, this is a very nice high to start looking for entry short. We're extended on the RSI. On the hourly, we had the reversal alert happen. Nice M pattern reversal happened over the Asia session and Friday. So potentially we're pushing down into these lows, assuming that we're going to continue moving that way. If we're going to continue on the longer term trend, obviously we should start to see that now drop, but we're waiting for the CAD and oil ideally. So yeah, short opportunities on that. You've had the reversal alert on M15 on Friday and retested this morning. New Zealand dollar Swiss, very similar. We've pushed up very nicely. We're coming back down at the moment. Swiss franc, obviously we had the big push and drop. This thing's been flagging for ages. We went into a range. We've just taken out the highs and pulled back down inside that range. So you could easily just stay there. Not the best trade in the world, this one. The entry last week was really nice as we broke out of that high and broke back down. So we had this lovely rejection, false breakout, which was a lovely signal to get in short. On the hourly, it's just just looks lovely for shorts now. But it's not the best in the world from a choppy perspective. So if you get any kind of pullback on this one today, you can get in short, I think. So if we push back up into this area, take an M5 or an M15 reversal short, I like. New Zealand dollar yen, no idea, don't care, hate it, hate everything yen at the minute. Just don't know. Short the highs and long the lows. Right now, no idea. But I've been much more interested in doing that than doing that. So I want it down here somewhere. If we can get any extensions down there. Again, hourlies, drop time frames. Whenever you see stuff that's range bound, drop down, get in on lower time frames on RSI extensions. Take those longs. So yeah, for New Zealand dollar yen, don't know. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, looking for short opportunities. Had that last week. Again, we looked at all of these last week and said, yeah, brilliant. I couldn't get into any of these because I'm exposed on the US dollar. But we got the RSI extension on it last week. It pushed up a couple of extra legs. And again, we've got that RSI divergence there. We're just about to get a reversal alert on the 4 hour. You had your reversal alert on the hourly this morning. M15 you had on Friday. So yeah. Looks good for shorts. I'm exposed on the US dollar, so I couldn't take it. That one and the Aussie, same thing. Just about to get the alert, possibly on the Aussie as well. US dollars, obviously US dollar CAD, I'm long still. Getting close to TP. What should I give this? I don't really want to exit this US dollar CAD. Or do I? It is a bit of a mess, isn't it? And I have got an opportunity to get out, and it would free me up some US dollar exposure. but I do also want to do some drawdown control on the DAX. If the DAX was still coming down this morning, I'd probably stay in this. It still could come down, couldn't it? Oh, decisions. I'll let that play out anyway. So, long US dollar CAD. Reason being, expecting US dollar strength, but you know, this one, I think I probably said at the time when I got into this, remind me, it's one of those ones, remind me when I get into this, I shouldn't get into this, because it is a long against a long, and therefore we tend to get a lot of range bound activity. So the only movement you get on pairs when you've got bias the same is news bound. So when the news comes out, as it did in this case, the wrong way for me on the US dollar, you just have to wait for it to have a profit take move start, and you just get stuck in it. But any RSI extension on this you can basically take, and you're getting out with a nice profit on it. So you can trade it either direction, the US dollar CAD. Just be prepared to get stuck in it for a couple of weeks, and obviously tie up your exposure. It's not the best pair in the world. So there's three currencies which tend to go and move a lot together: Aussie New Zealand, Euro Pound, and US dollar CAD. So these tend to be the more range bound pairs because they're the biggest trading partners with each other. So they tend to have the lowest ADRs. So, you know, I'm in Aussie New Zealand and US dollar CAD because I'm stupid. But they're good opportunities. When you see them, they look good, you take them. So it's just they haven't got very big ADRs, and you have to wait. But nice movement on that one this morning. No news making any of these moves happen. So yeah, like it long still at the moment, but only because I'm in long. There's no real directional bias on it, so you can kind of take it any way you like. It's got more movement up into these highs, I think, at some point. So we've got this lovely high here where we just keep batting into this high and testing it. It's an old area. So we've got potential movement up to there, which would be sort of 150, 175 ADR. I don't think we're going to get there today, but I'll make a decision on this one based on what I see the DAX doing this morning. So this is either going to pull back and get me out. I'm just going to move these up just in case we get a continuation run on this. I've got the trailer on it, so I'll just let the trailer take me out of it when the market's ready to reverse. But yeah, US dollar CAD like us along. US dollar Swiss, I've really got no idea on this one either. This is a mess. It's just this like boom, boom. It's just really messy and abnormal price action. But this has all been caused by news. US dollar bad news, Swiss franc amazing news. We're down at support resistance. You see all these areas I've got drawn in, all these lines I've got drawn in down here are support. We are struggling down here, so potentially looking for some kind of boost off the US dollar, nicely extended on the RSI. But again, this week is going to be fully controlled by Wednesday. We're going to be waiting until Wednesday, so I wouldn't expect to see massive movements, directional bias movements until then. At the moment we're doing pullbacks and things, but I think we'll probably find most of these moves will get undone before Wednesday. So US dollar yen, again, much rather be interested in short and longing this. The long was down here, couldn't take it because I was already exposed on the US dollar last week, but your entry was last week on this one down here after this big drop off the news. There was your long. We're just coming up, and we're trying really hard to get up there at the moment, but prefer longs rather than shorts against everything yen for the moment, because the yen can't dig themselves out of their financial hole they've dug themselves into by buying their currency over and over again and the currency devaluing. So think of yourself as going out and just buying up as much crap as you can find that's going down in price. That's what the Japanese government is doing at the moment, devaluing their currency by buying more of it. Don't know how they're getting out of it. They're going to have to stop it at some point, but not for the foreseeable. So for the foreseeable, be looking for long opportunities against the yen until they come out and say something about it. Bitcoin, flag of all time. the longest, most painful flag for anybody that is buying Bitcoin. You know at some point you're going to really get hurt if you're buying this thing. This level here is where I would look for some kind of reaction in here. So market falling out of bed, accumulation, market falling out of bed, flag, market falling out of bed. We're waiting for the US indices to drop, and when they drop, Bitcoin's coming down hard. So be warned, if you're long Bitcoin, if you're holding Bitcoin, take what you got and run away with it. People are losing millions. People are losing houses. Some people just don't learn. But yeah, this thing's coming down. Some point. Diamond, we're about half an ADR from a double bottom, so push it down. You have to. So whenever you put comments in, you have to tell me what pair, because I don't see your comments until I've gone miles past what we were talking about. Half an ADR from a double bottom. Where were we? Don't know what we're talking about, but yeah, probably. Aussie dollar CAD, H1 retest short. Yeah. So just retesting at the moment. So retest entry there. Nice M on that one for the reversal alert. So the retest will be a continuation short. Break of that level and that level is going to see you come back down and test this area. So good looking short entry on that. The oil, right, yeah. Yeah, good short targets on that one. Yeah, oil, yeah, I mean, we could easily come down and double bottom this. I don't think we will. I don't think we'll get down here. We've tested this level 4 times and rejected it. I don't think the market needs to or will want to come back down to this level. If it gets down to this level, we're in trouble, because it means that there is actually a lot of selling action on oil, a lot more than expected. So I don't think we would need to retest this level again, but you never know. There's a lot, if you think about it from a market perspective, oil is a lot less manipulated, I think, than most things, because it's a tangible asset that has monetary value. So, you know, it's not a case of it's not as easy to manipulate, I don't think, than a lot of the FX pairs. So there will be liquidity sitting under these lows here, especially this one. There's going to be a lot of liquidity sitting under there, because as the market came down hard, it bounced again. All of these bounces, basically, people are seeing, and they're adding long positions in. It came back down and it hit these lows again, and it bounced. There's a lot of people long oil, like me at the moment. We made a new high. We didn't just make a new high, we screamed out and made a new high massively. So anybody that saw that breakout long, they're under there. So there's a lot of liquidity under there, but it takes an awful lot to get this all the way back down to there, when you'll find a lot of institutions and banks along this, and they will be defending these positions, because obviously they will be getting out down here as well. So I think you'll find there's a lot of buying pressure going to enter at some point. At the moment, however, it's pulling back, but you know, this is why we have these fib retracements. Yeah, you can only take so much heat before you start looking for longs to step in. Beautiful 3-bar reversal example there. So yeah, I like it. I like, this is a lovely area to long from, and I will be getting in on the next alert. But yeah, there is a danger. There's always a danger in the market. Can do anything the market wants to do. You know, you learn after a while of watching this and getting chopped to pieces. Doesn't matter what you think is going to happen. The market goes where the market wants to go. And if the market wants to come back and retest this area, and there are enough people in there that want to see it, it will happen. Nothing we can do about it, apart from obviously get back in again. So, God, go US dollar CAD. We like this one this morning. Still pumping hard. coming up to fill that gap. So 150 ADRs on the cards today. So remember what I was saying this morning about this news. Wednesday is where we're gearing up. We get one or two things happening Monday, Tuesday. We either get that accumulation and then manipulation on the news, or we get that pump and then reversal on the news. So if US dollar is pumping, and we are going to continue to pump this week, expect FOMC to dump on Wednesday. And again, you know, market does what the market does, but looks to me at the moment like they're pumping. But equally, when this is done, we could just do that for the rest of the day and return back to where we were, in which case then we are literally staying in that range. So you can't tell, unfortunately, which type of scenario is going to happen until it's happened. If we could, obviously we'd be millionaires, but you can anticipate. So when we get up to there, you could start getting short, anticipating that we are just going to go into range ahead of FOMC. In which case, if we're pushing up to there, we're going to pull back down to here, then we're going to pull out there, then we're going to push up to there. Potentially, but we'll see. Okay, anybody got anything else they want to look at all in any more detail? Or any other opinions or thoughts or anything on anything? I've covered everything. And I really wish I hadn't got so heavily loaded on the DAX and oil, but hey. Lesson learned again. I teach myself lots of lessons, and every now and again I go, this time will be alright, and then I go, yeah, that's why I didn't do that. Just double normal contract size, that's the only reason. So that would be 1.1, that would be 1.2. So I'd be 2% off of that, sitting in 3% a drawdown instead of 5 at the moment, but it's not the end of the world. Should I post questions on EA? Yeah, you know, you can ask here if you want, Henk. Ask away. Waiting for US dollar to move. It's moving. Oh no, it's not moving. No, you're right. It's Canadian dollar. This is CAD weakness causing this, not US. Very weak CAD. Yeah, I was wondering, you know, I was looking at it thinking, why is my pound US dollar not moving? That's why. That's Canadian dollar movement, not US. Canadian dollar obviously weak because oil is weak. So. But Henk, if you want to ask questions in here, fire away. I know there's a bit of a delay, but if not, come in the Telegram group, and you can ask away in there anyway. So, but obviously the video and the manual covers every setting. But if there's settings you don't still quite understand, just ask. We could cover those. Pushing up on the DAX again. So the hedging strategy, you set full stop loss to true, and you set a stop loss on the strategy ADR based. Does this mean the stop loss was only used to position sizing? Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's what the full stop loss is for. Yeah, so this setting down here, that one, use fake stop loss to calculate lot sizing. Yeah, it does exactly what it says. Uses a fake stop loss to calculate lot sizing. Yeah, so when you are entering a trade with the EA and you want to use a percentage risk per trade, yeah, nothing can calculate a percentage risk if there's no stop. So you have to have a stop. So to calculate your risk as a percent, don't you? So if you enter long and you say I want to risk 0.5%, the EA is going to say, well, where's your stop? How do I know how to calculate 0.5%? It's got to have a stop loss. So I use ADR as a stop loss and a multiplier of ADR. So I use half an ADR as a stop loss. Yeah, stop loss true, half an ADR. And stop loss is in ADR mode. So it puts the ADR stop in the market at half an ADR, calculates the percentage risk, lot size, and then it removes it straight away. So that sets stop loss. Oh, wrong one, that one there. So that's what that does. But any of this you want to know, yeah, you can answer all of your questions. And I always say this to everyone, I don't mean it in a detrimental way, but you can answer your own question very easily by sticking this in the strategy tester and seeing what it does. Watch it. Yeah, set it, put it in a strategy tester, and you will see it enter a stop loss, and you will see it remove that stop loss immediately. So you can answer all of these questions yourself in the strategy tester. People don't spend enough time in the strategy tester testing. That's exactly what the strategy tester is there for, to show you what's going on, what things do. Oh look, our friend's back. You never get on top of these, you know. This guy's been banned every day for such a long time, and yet he still comes back every day on all channels. I've seen that love chat. See, lovechat.xyz got banned, so the new URL is lovechat1.xyz. So yeah, go there if you want loads of viruses and malware all over your PCs. See lots of pretty ladies, but don't expect to ever use your computer again, and get all of your trading accounts hacked, obviously. Do not click on those links. Yeah, so that answers that question, hopefully. But yeah, strategy tester. Go in a strategy tester. If you've got a question about any setting in the EA, the best thing to do is go into visual mode in the strategy tester. Oh, you can't see it on this one, but this is a 4K monitor. But yeah, go into the strategy tester. And basically just, you know, change the settings. So run it with the settings once in visual mode and let the thing trade. I've no idea what this is set to. It's going to probably take every reverse alert or something, I guess. What have I got it set to? Daily. Oh my god, that's going to take forever. So use the setting and then watch it, see what it does, and then go into the settings again, change that setting, and then see what it does after that, and it'll answer your question. It's much easier and quicker than waiting for me to answer or someone else to answer in Telegram or this is just set to default, so I think it's probably just going to trade everything. I don't know. Yeah. So that's just set to 1-to-1 risk reward by the looks of things. So yeah, and then just stop. Use exactly the same settings for time. Yeah, use exactly the same currency, and then just change that setting. Yeah, and you'll see what it does. So this time when it takes that trade, it will put that stop in there and it will remove that stop. So there's that stop down there. This time when it enters that trade, you'll see that stop will be removed immediately, but the TP will remain in place. Okay, see, there's the TP, but it's gone. Yeah, So you can always answer those questions yourself. Nice retest. And we're off. Right, US dollar CAD's still going. Go on, Canadian dollar. Actually, don't go on Canadian dollar. Actually, what I want the Canadian dollar to do now is just get there, get all that done, and then power up massively so that oil goes through the roof. That would be my perfect scenario today. Oil to explode to the upside after US dollar CAD has hit TP. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Okay, you're off, Sammy. Yeah, I'm off as well. Good luck today. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 7:50. We'll see how everything's gone. I'll put an update in the Telegram group of everything that I get into or out of today. I'm not planning on entering anything new at the moment. I just want to get myself on top of this oil and DAX situation and do some aggressive drawdown control on these guys today. So I'm going to look to do some aggressive drawdown control on those. Not because I'm worried about the positions, just because I'm oversized on the positions. And they're kind of stopping me entering any more trades at the moment because of my exposure at the minute. So I'm just going to try and get on top of those guys today. So I'll post anything that I'm closing out. Be aware, obviously, no news today. Aussie dollar tomorrow morning. So Aussie dollar, I'm looking to get out of potentially some of that today. Sod's law, it didn't get to that TP. So yeah, I'm not overly worried about this. I just don't know what this news is going to do tomorrow morning. I don't think we're going to get a lot of reaction to it, and I think the likelihood is it will probably be more positive Aussie than negative. This is what I'm worried about. Wednesday, this. I think this is going to move the New Zealand dollar dramatically, and I get the feeling it might be positive New Zealand, which obviously means my Aussie New Zealand is going to tank. So I'm looking for an exit on Aussie New Zealand today, tomorrow. So if we get a decent push above these highs, I'm going to probably get out of that one just ahead of the news, just in case. But apart from that, I'll update you on anything else that I'm doing. But yeah, that's it. So I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. Anything you need, come into the Telegram group. I will be in there as usual. I can answer questions, excuse me, about the EA or whatever you want. Yeah, and that's it. So have a good day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:50, and hopefully it's a profitable one.